Well, I'm walking down the path at the Carvalho farm trail. I've done this little hike before with Pug Dog Alley, but it's different right now. This is a new trail. It's only been open, I think, like half a year. But it's the first time we ever came here. It was a few weeks ago in April, and the foliage was not this high, and it was a lot muddier. But the distinct difference today, aside from all the beauty of the flowers, the buttercups, oh my goodness, the coastal wind. We're right near the coast, and a bunch of coastal farms out that way. Oh man, the smell of manure. Whew. It's everywhere. Whew. Ooh, I almost tripped. It's a walking 20 miles a day thing. It's getting tiresome. I set out to do this challenge because I was supposed to be hiking the Appalachian Trail. And I had all the time off and everything was supposed to be focused on that. And I was, gonna have this huge challenge of trying to complete the Appalachian Trail as a thru hike going northbound in like some crazy 82 days or something, some crazy time. I was training for it. And then of course the pandemic hit. It changed everything. And as I looked back at the end of April, I spent a lot of that month digesting a lot of news, hearing lots of contradictory things about how everything was going to turn out, feeling at times like the best and the brightest are leaders. No faults to them, I'm sure. They didn't have a lot of know-how on how this thing was going to progress or what to do. And it was very frustrating. So I kind of slacked off. I kind of let the circumstances that were out of my control change me and change the things that I wanted to do with my life. And it really negatively impacted me there for about a month. I just wasn't as productive as I wanted to be. And then towards the end of April, Allie and I had this idea that we were just gonna get rid of the television. Not because we don't want to be informed, not because we don't like to know the news, but because at the same time, all these images and these storylines and all these things that you see about the current global situation, you kind of get to this point where you kind of realize none of it matters, at least to us personally. I mean, we knew what we needed to know at the moment, which was we needed to social distance. We weren't going to be teaching in our school buildings for the time being. And, you kind of had to practice good hygiene methods and hope for the best, right? Wait for a vaccine or wait for the numbers to maybe decline. And we knew everything we needed to know, so we made the choice to get rid of the TV. And that, for us, was one of the best choices ever, because suddenly we had this, at least for me, I had this resource that I kept, tuning into. Anytime I was cooking a meal or eating something, I would spend time watching the news because it was everywhere. I mean, you couldn't escape, at least in the month of April. I don't know how it is now. You couldn't escape watching something without some sort of commercial talking about the current pandemic. But but in those last couple of days of April when we unplugged the TV, it was amazing. It was all of a sudden we had this clarity, or at least I had this clarity of thought that I had all this time on my hands that I had originally put towards consuming endless news feeds. More so, I kind of became desensitized to all the negativity that I had been seeing on TV day in and day out. And with those last couple, like 3 or 4 days of April, I kind of just started like realizing that there are things out of my control that have definitely affected things in my life, like my hike of the Appalachian Trail. But at the same time, there are so many things in my control. There are so many things to be positive about, amidst the negativity. And that's when I came up with this idea that I'm not going to let the pandemic or just some negative factor in life dictate how I'm going to live, what I'm going to do. And that's how I've always lived, except just with this pandemic. It was such a big, all-encompassing situation that really, at the time, it seemed like it changed everything. And I came up with the plan of walking 20 miles a day. So my favorite YouTube hiker from like 3 years ago was a guy named Early Riser 71. That's his YouTube handle. I think he's an ex-military man, and he did the Appalachian Trail 3 years ago. And he was trying to start this movement in 2017 in May called Hike a Day in May. And his proposal while he was hiking the trail was, hey, just get out there, get out, exercise, do the best you can, to live a healthy life, and, get out there and be in nature, get some fresh air, get some vitamin D from the sun. I remember at the time that was really inspiring to me and Allie, his Hike a Day in May post, just telling people to get out there and hike. So I kind of thought of that and I was like, oh my gosh, we're already almost into May, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge myself as if I were hiking the trail. I am going to use the local areas around me. I'm not going to use hiking trails because, especially at the time, at the beginning of May, the hiking trails were all closed. You weren't supposed to be out there using them. I thought, I'm going to use the bike path in nearby Fairhaven and some other areas around me, and I'm going to challenge myself to walk 20 miles a day. I'm going to load up my backpack, not fully with like my normal gear, but I'm going to load it up with the things that I need for this adventure. And I'm going to, through thick and thin, through pain, through all of it, I'm just going to stick and commit to hiking, walking 20 miles a day. And that's what I've done. It's day 24. By the end of today, I'll have logged 480 miles. It's been a tough 24 days. There are plenty of times I don't want to get up and do it. There are times my feet extremely hurt. But during all of this, all these this chunk of 5 hours I'm out here, getting all this fresh air, being away from the noise, not having the television, it's really changed my outlook on everything. There's a saying, ignorance is bliss, and just ignoring and being sort of ignorant to the constant live news feed, the news cycle of things that are really out of my control, has been so beneficial. I feel like I am focused again. I feel like I'm a better teacher in the mornings for my students. I feel like the different levels of anxiety I'd felt through the month of April and end of March are gone. And it's like a good reset. I don't know how things are going to turn out a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. But, what is in my control is in my control. And those are the things that I'm going to manipulate for myself so that I can live a happy life, so that I can, meet my goals and do the things that excite me and interest me. So that's like my whole reasoning for being out here and enduring and doing this kind of challenge. And it really has helped me as a backpacker too. I mean, walking 20 miles endlessly like this at a 4-mile-per-hour clip, aside from my stops, it's pretty tiring physically. It's mentally exhausting. It's environmentally challenging. I've been out here some days where it is windy, rainy and windy, overbearing sunlight, cold. It's been an unusually cold spring here in New England, so that's kind of been tricky. But you know, you have the emotional aspect of it. It just is good preparation for hiking. I don't know what's going to happen this summer. I can't do the AT. I don't have enough time. But I'm looking at some other hikes around the country. I'm obviously not going to do anything that's going to hurt, harm, endanger anyone. But I'm going to live. And I'm going to do the things that I can do that are within my control to live my life regardless of the negative circumstances that will crop up. I mean, if anything, this pandemic has taught me that, yeah, it's a big deal, and there are people, you know, obviously dying, and there are people in hospitals right now, and people just not doing well, who have contracted the virus, and there are asymptomatic people and whatnot. But this virus has taught me one thing. There are going to be circumstances that we're all going to be thrust into at different points in our lives where things are going to happen that are negative, they're going to be out of our control, and it really is up to us to make the best of it. You know, are you going to fight? Are you going to move forward? Are you going to persevere? Or are you, going to let it be an excuse for why things didn't happen? Why, I couldn't do the Appalachian Trail, but is it going to be my excuse for not being healthy, for not getting out there, for not getting fresh air, for not getting vitamin D, for, not exercising and boosting my immune system in that way, not practicing my backpacking skills? So that's my reasoning. I'm out here. I'm at Carvalho Trail here in Fairhaven. It's a little offshoot trail from the normal bike path that I've been using. And I'm going to have a quick snack. It's about 12:59. I've walked about 6 point something miles. I am going to, hike about 6 more. And then Allie, Bug Dog, as our trail names are, she's going to meet me, and we're going to do the rest of it together, the last 8. So anyways, that's my reasoning. I got to go. I got to eat something. I got to get moving. So thanks for listening. It's really warm out. It's funny, just these little kids on tricycles. The first kid was like, "You're not faster than my mommy." And then I just walked by and I was like, "You're right, little buddy. Maybe I am." And he goes, "You're not faster than me." And tried to keep up.